Hello!
Guess who's back?
We're back.
Back again.
Yes, so today we're going to be talking about the origins of the Catholic Church. And the origins means like the beginning, or like how it started. So
Does this still not have a title?
I thought we liked the title we decided to go with was the...
Magera's degree in history. Oh no, put the T in history.
Investigating the T in history. Was that it? Something like that?
I think it was
okay. So I think
investigating
that's
the
our
T in history.
soft title, yes.
Soft title means.
Cool. We're not certain. All right, here we go. So talking about the origins of the Catholic Church.
Excited.
So Christianity's started. Catholic is a Christian church. It started being persecuted after Jesus died. Christians were pretty much persecuted wherever they went in the Roman Empire. If you remember from your Bible class, Jesus was alive in the Roman Empire. That's when he was. His whole life happened. All of Israel was underneath the Roman Empire. And Christians were persecuted. They were thrown in the Colosseum and fed to lions. They were killed, gruesome, crucified, killed in many brutal, terrible ways.
Why?
So this is how it began. Mainly because their beliefs were different. They believed in monotheism, which was only belief in one God.
What did the Romans believe?
They had a bunch of different gods, right? And some Romans also thought that the emperors were God, so that by saying that he wasn't God and there's only one God, you're saying the emperor was wrong.
Did anyone believe that there was nothing?
Not really, not during this time. They might have not cared about religion that much or really cared that much about the gods, but no one really said that, oh, there's no gods. Yeah, that would have been
There weren't like atheists back then.
No, not really. And this brings us to Constantine, okay? So the church is being persecuted, and then this dude comes up named Constantine, okay? And Constantine is this guy in this picture right here.
Wow, he looks very in charge.
Yes, and he goes, and he's going to battle, and the story goes, according to him, that he's going to battle, and he prays before it, and then he sees a burning cross in the sky, and he says, if I win this battle, then I'm going to make Roman Christian. I'm going to make everyone Christian. And so he goes to battle, he wins, and after that he comes back and he makes he allows Christianity.
Wait, was Constantine, was he an emperor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was an emperor.
Yeah, sorry, my bad, I skipped that part. So Emperor of Rome sees a burning cross in the sky.
Guy who can do anything.
Yeah, sees a burning cross in the sky, says, oh, it must be and he changes to Rome. He lets Christianity be allowed, okay? So that way that if you are in Rome, you're now safe to be a Christian. And this is going to keep expanding until Christianity
Did he become a Christian?
Yes. And then Christianity would eventually become the official religion of the Roman Empire. So it just keeps expanding. Oops, my bad. All right. So that's how it happened. Oops, sorry. Got to get over here. Here we go. All right, fall of Rome. Then Rome fell, though, and but when Rome fell, the barbarians were really quick to become Christians, actually. They weren't...
Who are the barbarians?
They should know this already, but they're people who weren't Romans, basically.
Oh, okay.
Anyone who wasn't Roman was a barbarian because their voice sounded like bar, 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 supposedly. That's how the story goes, anyways.
Wow.
Monasteries were there, and they would help refugees. They helped spread texts. And monasteries are basically a bunch of Christian, Catholic monks, and they would basically live in a monastery. They couldn't leave. They would
Wait, so Christians and Catholics are the same thing at this point?
Yeah, not really different. Yeah. Rome falls, and Christianity, though, is still spreading among the barbarians. And this is going to continue throughout the Middle Ages. So throughout, after the Roman Empire, there's basically going to be only one religion, and that's going to be Christianity. In Europe, at least. So other places in the world we'll talk about, but in Europe, it's going to be Christianity. In the west half, it's going to be Catholic. In the east half, it's going to be Eastern Orthodox.
But what's the difference between Christianity and Catholicism? At this point, is there any difference? When you say
They're
Christian?
Just saying one. Yeah, they didn't know anything else. Yeah, so Christianity was either Eastern Orthodox or Catholic, as I said.
Okay.
During the Middle Ages, the church organized itself in a hierarchy, which means that there's a person at the top and there's different levels. So at the levels, we start off with the Pope. The Pope is at top, and below him are the cardinals. And this is still around today.
And there's only one Pope.
Yep, there's only one Pope. Yep, the Pope is in Rome. He's technically called the Bishop of Rome, but everyone just calls him the Pope. And you might see him as a big white hat.
Isn't it Francis?
I don't know.
Pope Francis?
They changed, so I don't remember. And they're always very old when they get chosen, so they usually don't live that long, or they get changed. And he appointed cardinals who are just below him. So it goes Pope at the top, cardinals in second. Below them are the archbishops, which means arch means like high or above. High archbishops, and then below the archbishops are regular bishops, And then at the very bottom are priests, and the priests were in charge of one church. So maybe a priest was in charge of one church or parish, and then a bishop had a couple of priests underneath him, and an archbishop had a couple of bishops beneath him, and then a cardinal may have one or two
So
bishops
priest
beneath
is
him.
as low as you can get in this hierarchy, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unless in the church. I mean, the priest is the highest in the church.
And this isn't talking about monks or nuns or anything like that. They're kind of a separate side thing. We'll talk more about them later. But
Can priests get married?
Nope, priests can't get married. None of those people are supposed to be allowed to get married. Though in the Middle Age, some of them did, which is kind of scandy, but we'll talk about that, yeah. So as you can see, the Pope was at the top. This is kind of a picture of Pope was at the top. Cardinals were the second. Cardinals always wore red. They help the Pope run the church, basically, the text picks up. This kind of skips it, but there should be an archbishop level right here, archbishop, and then the bishops are right below them. Priests are at the bottom. This also
what
includes...
do the bishops do?
They're in charge
If they
of
help do the church and he runs it, what do they do?
So the bishops do, bishops help run the diocese, so they run like several churches, basically, as I said.
Okay.
So priests have individual churches they're in charge of, but bishops run multiple churches. They're kind of over them. They're their boss.
Oh, and monks and nuns are at the bottom.
Kind of, yeah, this puts them there, but they weren't really like, it's not like a monk, it's not like a priest tells them, the monk or nun, really what to do. Maybe they do if they live in the same thing, but in general, it's kind of a separate side thing in a way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, does that make sense? Are there any questions about that?
No, it makes full sense.
Full sense?
But will you go over the difference between Christianity and Catholicism? Because it changes, doesn't it?
I mean, somewhat, but it's not, like, Catholics are still Christians.
I know, but when we say that we're Christians, we're not Catholic, though.
Yeah,
we're
there's
not
different types of
practicing
Christians,
Catholic.
yes. But Catholicism is a subdivision of...
I think that's the only
Catholic,
confusing thing. But Catholicism came before, like,
Protestants. Yeah, but we'll talk about that. That's in the future when we learn about the Reformation. But don't worry about that yet. Just know about the hierarchy, where the church came from, and all that. Yeah.
Well, now, do you guys know what time it is? Tea time. So here is my tea. It's ginger honey, and it's iced tea because I'm not a huge fan of hot tea. Like I usually say that a lot. Anyway, we don't have any hot cocoa, unfortunately. So anyway, the tea, I have it in my phone because I can't remember names at all.
Names are tough.
Well, especially when they're not like English names. Okay. Did you know? Okay, wait. I have two. So the first one is the Pope. You might know more about this than I do, but the Pope flies around to all the different Catholic churches, right?
What do you mean?
He like flies and he visits a bunch of. He like goes all
he
around the world.
Yeah.
So I think it was Pope Peter. I think is what his name was. He flew around so much that it was equivalent to going to the moon 3 times. I thought that was an interesting fact.
Was his name really Pope Peter?
I really want to say it was. It was. Hold on, sorry guys, it's right here.
Mind, you don't have to find
no, it's right here. John Paul. It wasn't not Peter. His name was John Paul II.
Though, random fact, the Catholic Church does say their first pope was Peter the Apostle.
Yeah.
They say that.
I saw that too.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, Peter never thought he was a pope, so. And he never went to Rome, so there's that. But anyways.
Well, also this one, have you ever heard of devil's advocate? This is something that you
Yeah, devil advocates when you just argue against someone no matter what they say.
Yeah, no matter
like,
what they say,
nope, you're wrong.
You're going to do it on the opposite side. Well, apparently, I don't know if this is still a thing, but the Catholic Church used to have a spot that was literally called devil's advocate. It was called Diablo's something.
Avocado.
No, not avocado. Wait, it says it right here. Jordan.
That's funny because Diablo. No.
It's called Advocate Diable.
That's kind of close. Avocate Diable.
Advocate Diable. Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, in their job, they were a lawyer, and they were literally there to argue all sides of different things.
Seems like you wouldn't have much friends doing that.
Probably not. But the whole point, I think, was to make sure that they weren't missing something.
Yeah.
So it's not a horrible idea. Always look at it from another
point. No, it is a horrible idea. See,
he's being devil's advocate.
All right.
That wasn't it.
Is that's not the tea?
No, that was the tea.
It's been like 3
Isn't
minutes.
this the funnest part of the class, though? It's okay, you guys can comment below. Yeah. Did you know that the Roman Catholic Church executed William Tyndale in 1536? Do you know why?
Tyndale, that he was translating the Bible. out of Latin.
Yeah,
Used
because
to-
he was the very first person.
The Bible used to be only written in Latin, and you couldn't translate to any other language. And Tyndale was one of the first person to try to translate it to other people's languages. And
But why? Was that so the priest had to
because the
know
idea
Latin
was
and then...
is that it was the sacred language, it was the language. So if we're translating it, we're changing its meaning, and so we have to keep it in the sacred language so it doesn't change its
But
meaning.
then wouldn't they translate it during the sermon? Like
No.
they would still they
The
just
La-
wouldn't say
when they
what was
read
in
it,
the
they
Bible.
read it in Latin. So that's why
So you had to learn Latin.
if you go to a Catholic church and you look at the walls, the paintings on the walls are actually there because an ordinary person who went to church wouldn't understand anything. So then they would be able to learn the stories from the paintings on the wall.
Wow, you learned something new. That's a good piece of
Hopefully
tea.
learned a lot of new things. For instance, if you go to the church downtown here.
Yes,
the,
we did. We
cathedral,
went there.
They have the wood carving things on the side. That was
So
because
cool.
people didn't know how to read or understand it.
It had all like the Bible stories, but in like paintings.
Well,
You
it's
could see
just
it.
one Bible story, Jesus' death, but yeah.
No, there was multiple ones. I mean, it kind of showed Jesus' life throughout the
I
pictures.
think it was all just him dying. It's all just one story. But anyways,
I don't
that's
know.
why they said paintings,
could
though,
be
is to
wrong.
tell the stories because people couldn't understand what was being said. This is going really long, this team.
Yes, but he did 76% of the Old Testament is in his translation for the New in the King James. But they executed him for doing it.
Yeah.
And like really, really badly.
It was considered to be a heresy, which means
And
against the church.
83% of the New Testament in King James is because of him. So he did do a lot, but
Yeah.
before he could finish, he died. So sad.
Is that your tea?
That was like a whole pitcher of tea is what that was. That
was a
wasn't even
good
just like
gallon
a
of
cup.
tea, yeah,
But you
that
know
was-
what though? Now you learned a lot about the Catholic Church and we had fun doing it, didn't we, Mr. Magera?
We had so much fun doing it. Okay. Bye, guys.